2024 might just be the biggest year for Quest VR games yet. Just in the first 3 months, we've seen a ton of games launched, and there are a crap ton of games still coming this year, and I'm sure more games to be announced. Today we are going over more than 30 games that we do know that are coming out. Please excuse my voice, I'm getting over laryngitis, but let's jump in right now. First up is Homeworld Vast Reaches. This takes the Homeworld RTS game from the past and brings it into full virtual reality. Set somewhere between the events of Homeworld 1 and 2, you're actually taking on the role of a new fleet commander. VR RTSs are already fantastic, and space ones are really cool as well, but Homeworld is like one of the original amazing space-based RTS games. So to see it come to VR and to get an official version that's not just an old port but a brand new game is going to be awesome. And I, for one, can't wait to actually get my hands on this and to see how it feels in virtual reality. Homeworld Vast Reaches launches sometime this year on the Quest platform. Next up, Metal Hellsinger VR. This is a port of a flat game that is a unique rhythm-based shooter. I've never actually played this game, but apparently this is a metal rage game where you're going to be killing enemies as a half-demon kind of person called the Unknown, and it's all based on like metal music. It's not my type of game, really. The music has an original soundtrack by some huge metal artists. I don't really listen to that kind of music, but if you do, then I'm sure you're really excited. It's a full campaign with different difficulty levels, and it's completely reimagined for VR. So there's a lot of people I know are excited about this, and that is coming sometime this year as well to the Quest. Next up is The Flip. This is another zombie kind of game. This is a cooperative social shooter that takes place in a place called Flip City, where you're just going to be like destroying zombies and killing them. It's all about communication according to the description. I don't really know much about it, except for the fact that it looks unique. The trailer doesn't really sell me on it, if I'm being honest. The avatars look kind of strange, and the game itself I'm not really sure on. It's kind of cartoony, which might be really fun for co-op. This actually comes out on April 18th, so not really that far away. I'll have to check it out before I really drop my real thoughts on it, but it says it's designed for anyone to pick up and play with a focus on social drop-in, drop-out gameplay. So who knows? It could be fun, but that again comes out later this month. Next up is Tank Arena Ultimate League. Now, I love anything that has to do with tanks, and I love tank arena style games. This one is a 4 versus 4 co-op shooting game that takes place in a tank. It says it's a strategic tank shooting game with 8 different tanks with unique cockpit designs. Again, designed for social with 4 versus 4 team matches. This one's actually coming out in May, so next month on May 23rd. It kind of gives me vibes of that PlayStation VR launch game, or I don't know if it was a launch game. I can't remember the title, but if you played it, you probably know what I'm talking about. It doesn't have the same art style, but for some reason it just kind of feels like that from what I've seen. It's like a battle bots blown up into an arena game kind of thing. Could be interesting. Instead of mechs, it's tanks, which we don't have a lot of tank-based games, so who knows, could be fun. Another social game coming. This is Tank Arena Ultimate League. This next game is a banger, but before we continue with this list, let's check out today's sponsor. Iron Strike is a physics-based roguelike fantasy adventure game for the Meta Quest that can be played either solo or in 4-player co-op multiplayer. Being totally honest here, it has some of the best fantasy swordplay in VR. It's by the same developers of Iron Lights, and you can really tell that they've perfected physics combat. The AI in the game is loads of fun to fight against, and the parrying and blocking is so satisfying. If sword fighting isn't your thing, then you can decide to go with another class, like a mage, and use gesture-based attacks to rain elemental powers on your enemies, or heal your party, or grab a bow and pick off enemies from a distance. You can even customize your character during each run with new weapons and skill upgrades. Plus, instead of just running through dungeons, you'll be exploring landscapes of unique worlds. And with the new Aeon update, they've even added a new level and 3 new weapons. fight to rescue the gods in this vibrant fantasy world, either solo or with your friends. Check out Iron Strike at the link in the description now. This next one I am 100% looking forward to playing, even though I'm terrified. Metro Awakening is what this game is. The Metro games are great. I don't know why I'm scared of them, to be honest, but I am. This is a story-driven, first-person VR adventure that takes place in the world of Metro. This is a survival story game. If you've ever played any of the other Metro games, I think you'll like this. It uses stealth and combat, and it takes place in the year 2028. It's coming out sometime this year by Vertigo Games. I don't know when exactly, but I'm very excited to try it. With their experience in creating first-person action games like Arizona Sunshine and Arizona Sunshine 2, which I really liked Arizona Sunshine 2. I think this could have potential to be really, really good. It's an original story by the creator of Metro. It's not like a redo of any of the other ones. And it looks terrifying. So I'm excited to play it, but at the same time, I'm also terrified to play it as well. So that's coming out sometime this year as well. Next up, Starship Home. This is exactly what it sounds like. You actually turn your home into a starship. It's a mixed reality game where you're going to be traveling through space and discovering different planets from around the galaxy. It says you immerse yourself in the mystery of an interstellar crisis from the comfort of your own home. I love mixed reality stuff, and the fact that this is turning an actual room into a spaceship is something that I wanted to do. I actually thought of this when the Quest 3 first came out, so I'm excited that some people are actually taking this and running with it. There's another game we'll talk about in a little while that does something similar. That is also a space mixed reality game for your room. This one looks a little more cute, more like you explore and do plant stuff. But it looks fun anyway. It's just being able to sit in your room and look out into space and see things moving is going to be exciting to me. I can't wait to play this. Next up is a sequel, Retropolis 2 Never Say Goodbye. This is a sequel to the original game, which was fun, although I didn't really play the whole thing. I started it. It is a hand-painted game, which in and of itself is extremely impressive. And it is coming to the official store. The fact that it's hand-painted and it's in VR is crazy. You should definitely check out the first one if you're interested in the look of this, because it's designed really meticulously and it is really cool. And I'm curious to maybe try this when it's got really high ratings. Next up is Soul Covenant. And I think I've talked about this before. And I actually said that I wasn't really sure if I was looking forward to this game because it was like a hack and slash game. But the more I hear about it, the more interested I actually am in it, because apparently it's like a story-based Japanese style kind of RPG game, which sounds really cool. I do like that genre. And it is like a futuristic AI based, I don't know, you have to fight against like this AI intelligent control known as Adam, assuming the role of God, and you have to try to fight against that. It sounds really interesting. If it's got a good story to it and it's entertaining to play, I'll definitely check it out. Initially, the gameplay didn't really sell me on it, but I will try it because now I know it's story-based, and it sounds like it's got a really cool anime-inspired story, which I'm kind of excited to at least see what the story is. This next one is called Some Assembly Required. Some Assembly Required is about building robots. You're supposed to be building robots any way that you can. You can let your imagination run wild and build them. This one comes out in May. I like building games. They tend to overwhelm me slightly depending on the game, but it looks like you're going to be building a lot of different types of unique robots to solve puzzles, I think, to solve problems, I should say, whether it's a vacuum or a serving or, you know, like bringing a candle over the table, as you might have seen in the trailer that's been playing. It looks interesting. It looks like it could be fun to create some chaos. I don't know. We'll see. It's got a simplistic art style, but you know what? That's not everything, and I think that it could be fun if done right. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Another one of those games that you'll have to see how it plays before I really can pass judgment on it. Next up is Smalland Survive the Wilds VR. Smalland is a series, apparently. I've seen it. I know about it. Don't really know, what it is exactly. I know that you shrink down like to the size of an ant, and you have to survive in this game. It's like a survival game, specifically saying you build, craft, and you explore. You deal with nature. It says you explore a world of giant insects and towering arachnids, which sounds terrifying to me, honestly. This one comes out in the spring sometime. No specific date as of yet. It says it's from the world of Smalland Survive the Wilds. immerse yourself in a new epic single-player adventure played at a tiny scale. A survival game where you're tiny sounds interesting. It looks like it's got some interesting mechanics. Next up is a game called Astra. And I mentioned that we were going to be talking about another mixed reality space game, and this is it. This comes out on April 25th, and it is taking your environment, and it actually, what it does, it's like a mixed reality space journey. Less like a game, it seems like, and more like a visitation type of thing where you can go to planets and travel through space in your room and discover the universe, which sounds really cool as well. There's some game elements to it, it looks like, specifically saying embark on a mixed reality journey that transforms your room into a spaceship for a mission to the deepest corners of the cosmos. Following the research of your astrobiologist mother, travel in space and visit planets and their dark moons in the search for life. You'll try to uncover the mystery of the life in the universe and make sense of your loss and grief. It says it blends storytelling, mixed reality, and interactive design with stunning environments guiding you through a deep, personal, yet universal adventure. So there, it is like a story-based thing, but it's almost like an experience, which sounds really cool. I'd like the idea of that. Next up is a game called Strike Rush. Now, I know we've had a lot of shooters lately, and I will be the first to admit I am kind of burnt out a little bit on shooters, especially online multiplayer ones, but Strike Rush is supposed to be something unique. It's a team-based FPS game that looks like a mixture of like a few different flat games set in like a futuristic battle sport. I don't know. We've had a few of these and they've been decent. No one's really ever hit the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned with what they're doing with this. It's coming in April, according to the trailer. It says spring on the Quest page. We'll have to see. I don't know. I'll try it and see. Just like everything else, I try and see. The art style looks interesting. You've got like an AI companion, a dog, it looks like, which is kind of cool. We'll have to wait and see. I have no idea. But I will pass judgment on this one in a positive manner because Astro Hunters is actually one of my most anticipated games of this year. Astro Hunters is an online space-based game. It's by the same developer that did Survival Nation, but it's like a space kind of version of that, sort of. An epic interstellar journey is what they call it. It's an open-world VR action game that's in space, and it's co-op or solo. I love the fact that they add co-op into all their games. Survival Nation is co-op as well. The environments look really cool. The guns look really cool. The aliens look awesome. It looks like a kind of a scaled-down version, if I had to compare it to anything, of No Man's Sky. Obviously won't be to scale of that. It probably won't be procedurally generated, and it'll just be specific planets you're going to visit. But it does look really cool. It's a resource gathering and survival game in space, which I love that idea. So I'm very much looking forward to this. No release date on this yet, but it looks fantastic. Next up is Laser Dance. And I'm actually really looking forward to Laser Dance. Laser Dance is a mixed reality game, but it's by the same developer as Cubism, which is fantastic as well. And in this game, apparently the goal is to like go across your room in mixed reality and escape the lasers, or at least not get hit by the lasers. And as a huge fan of mixed reality and this kind of don't touch the floor because the floor is lava type of escape room kind of make your way across game, I love that idea. I can't wait to play it. I know some people that have tried it and they really liked it, so very much looking forward to playing this. It's coming out sometime this year as well. Next is a game that I think has the potential to be the game of the year for 2024, and I say that not to be like kind of over exaggerated or dramatic, but Contractor Showdown is just fantastic. I haven't played it as much as I would like, but it is by and large the best shooter on Quest, in my opinion, and I think it's going to tear up the online multiplayer community. Once it launches officially, it's available for pre-order right now. Comes out later this month, I think, and it is absolutely stunning. If you like games like Contractors and you like Pop 1, it kind of meshes those together in some ways, but it does it in such a way that it is fantastic. And for the price too, it's $20 normally. You can pre-order for $17.99 right now, and it is so much fun. All the mechanics are so good, and the map is so much fun to play. It is just like you would expect with something like Fortnite or Pop 1, where the arena closes over time, but it's so diverse, and it's just so good. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. You need to play it. I highly recommend going and watching some videos on it, or just buy it. Trust me, you're going to like it. It's going to be the best shooter on Quest, I guarantee it, of the year. Next is Taskmaster VR. Now, this is a game I know nothing about, really. I believe it's a British television show, which sounds weird to come to a VR game, but it's like a game show of sorts. It says, submit to the judgment of the Taskmaster in glorious virtual reality. The hit TV show comes to VR, and you are the contestant. Step into the world of Taskmaster, endeavor to complete a menagerie of weird and wonderful tasks, and get creative in how you solve them. You're just supposed to complete tasks and impress a taskmaster. Throwing watermelons, apparently, hitting bubbles with swords, driving things with an RC controller. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things in this. It looks like it could be fun. I don't know. I know nothing about it, so I'll be honest, I have no idea how it's going to work. I think it'd be fun if it was multiplayer, but it doesn't seem to be, so I'm not really sure how much fun it's going to be and how sustainable. But another one of those ones, wait and see how people like it. Brazen Blaze, I've actually played on the channel before. I'm not going to belabor the point. This is another one of those shooters, an online one, and it is fun. I had a lot of fun playing, although it was in early access, and I had a lot of things that were wrong with it. But it's a unique one in the sense that instead of the walls coming in on the environment, the floor drops out. So it's not like necessarily the other shooters. This is a hero shooter, and some of the heroes are really cool. And I think that the destruction of the environment is really good as well. If you've seen gameplay or trailers of it, you know a lot about it. That's pretty much all I got to say about it. But that is coming out sometime in the summer of this year. And if you like hero shooters and destructible environments, then you'll probably like it as well. And it's got some cool kind of combat too as well with the punching. It feels a lot like Super Smash Bros, but first person. This next one is a game that I really want to like. I haven't tried it. It's called Black Forge. The visuals is what's keeping me away. I know that sounds stupid, but it's a forging game, and I love blacksmithing and forging, and I've wanted a forging game in VR. For some reason, though, the visuals have just kept me from playing it. I don't know why. I think it's because when I make a sword, I want it to look like a real sword, and they just don't look like real swords, but maybe it's fantastic, and I just need to try it. I mean, I played Township Tale, and that wasn't realistic in any sense of the word, and I had fun with that. So I really just need to try it. I just haven't taken the time. I think there's a demo on SideQuest. But I am looking forward to it coming out in its full release this summer, because I think that it could be fun to play and just craft weapons. I don't know. I think the thing that put me off was how difficult it looked to make a good-looking weapon, because they just look kind of misshapen. I almost like the idea of having templates that you have to use, even though it's harder to use because they look really cool. I don't know. It's probably really good, and I'm just being picky. But that comes out later this year as well. Toy Monsters is also coming out this year as well. I think this might have been in early access before or on App Lab, because I know I've played it, or SideQuest or something. I'm fairly confident I've played this. This is a mixed reality game. It kind of reminds me of Plants vs. Zombies kind of an idea, where you use different characters to fight off the monsters. It is fun. I did play it a while back, and I spent more time on it than I expected to. It was like a block-based. It is very much, I think, like Zombies versus or Plants vs. Zombies. It is fun. So if you like that kind of game and just something simple to play in mixed reality, this will definitely do that for you. Zombie Army VR is coming out as well. This is a franchise by Rebellion. I know I wanted it to come to VR for a while. See, I really want this to come to VR, and I think it could be fun. The problem I have with it is I enjoyed Sniper Elite, the first one, but that was a long time ago, and I don't know if my expectations have gone up. A lot of people didn't like the gunplay in Sniper Elite VR. I enjoyed it at the time, but then when I went and played Sniper Elite, whatever the Winter Warrior one, that was called Winter Weather Warrior or something, I can't remember, recently that they launched, it was like a separate game for Quest. I didn't like it. I actually didn't really care for the mechanics of the guns. I don't know if it's because it was the sniping that I liked before, or I just didn't like the handling of the guns. It felt chunky and the hands felt huge. So I'm not really looking forward to Zombie Army VR. I've played a lot of good zombie games, and I'm not really sure about this one yet. If they've changed things and it's better, maybe it'll be good. It is multiplayer co-op, so that could save it. I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. You decide on your own what you think. I'll just leave it at that. Next up is Nope Challenge. This is a game I'm actually kind of looking forward to using on friends and family to get them to crap themselves. And we'll see how it is. It's a game with essentially taking fears and making you suffer through them at different levels. I think there's like a couple different, or 3 or 4 different levels or something, I don't know, of each fear. and it goes from like easy to medium to hard and to whatever, nightmare kind of thing. And it's got things like clowns and spiders and heights, and it looks to be really cool. It's supposed to be really accessible so that everyone can try it. And I don't know, there's a note button that you can actually press 3 times, and it'll bring you to your breather space. If that tells you how scary it's supposed to be. Will it actually be that scary? We'll have to see. But I hope so, because I want to use it on a video to show people. This next one is a game I'm really looking forward to as well. This is Silent North. This is by the same developers as Ghosts of Tabor. It's a zombie survival game that takes place in the snow. It looks really cool, but it's also like PvP as well. A lot like Ghosts of Tabor, where you're fighting against zombies, but you've also got the enemy players that are trying to steal your resources and stuff. So another game like that. Ghosts of Tabor is fantastic, even though I haven't played enough of it. So that this game should be really cool as well. Next, Zero Caliber 2. I've talked about this before on the channel. I love Zero Caliber 1. I think it's one of the better story-based kind of shooters. That's military shooters. It's kind of like Call of Duty. It's more like that. I think it's better than a lot of the other games on Quest. And Zero Caliber 2, almost said Soul Calibur 2. Zero Caliber 2. Another great game, by the way, Soul Calibur 2, and it's not this. Zero Caliber 2 looks to be really cool. They've had some limited access for like closed alphas and betas and stuff, and I think that it looks really fun. The pre-orders are live. Comes out sometime this spring. And if it's as good as it has the potential to be, I think it could be great. Also, of course, this does support co-op multiplayer as well. So we'll see how that goes. But personally, I'm looking forward to a story, a really good story, hopefully, with some really cool visuals and some cool set pieces, which I think that has potential to have. Another sequel up next, FNAF Help Wanted 2, or Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2. I think I said that right. I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's, and I've been pretty clear about that. Not just because I don't like the scary aspect of it. It just doesn't really do it for me. The movie, though, actually was really good. I'll admit that I really liked the movie, even if a lot of people didn't. I thought it was actually a fun movie. But the game, the first game I played on Quest a long time ago, not a fan. Not just because it frightened me, but just because I didn't like the style of game. But the second one's coming out sometime this year, and I know there's a lot of people looking forward to it. It's been out on other platforms in VR for a while, but of course Quest is very accessible. So there you go. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 coming out. Wanderer, the Fragments of Fate is another game of the year potential for me. This game was one of my favorite games the year it launched when its first version came out on PC VR, and this is the updated version of that. This looks way better. This physics, the visuals have been totally updated. It's a complete redo of the entire game, and it looks fantastic on Quest. I cannot wait to play this again because I want to see how it plays differently. It just looks so good. I don't know. I love the story of the first one, and I can't wait to play it. Mannequin is a game that was or I think it actually is in early access, I come to think of it. If you search for it, you can find it. I think you have to join the Discord to get access to it. I'm not sure if it's still in early access or not, but it does look really fun. I haven't actually tried it. I've tried to take time to do it and just haven't had the time. It's essentially like Prop Hunt, but you're a person or an alien, and you have to freeze to hide from the hunters and then try to destroy them. It looks cool anyways. You've probably heard about it from some other people, and it looks really cool. I do want to try it at some point, just haven't had the chance. Silent Slayer is another game that looks kind of cool. A puzzle-based game, very accessible probably because it's by the same developers as I Expect You to Die, which is a super accessible, fun puzzle game. This looks like he takes kind of Expect You to Die and Five Nights at Freddy's, like the mode. I don't even know what the mode is called, but where you're working on the animatronic characters like Bonnie and all those characters, and you have to try to fix them, and they can like come to life and kill you if you don't do it right. Kind of looks like that, a mashup with a puzzle game where you have to try to open up these vampires' coffins and kill them before they wake up, called the Silent Slayer, obviously. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know if that's exactly what it is, but that's what it looks like, and it looks really cool. Looks like it could be a jump scare, too, here and there, but it looks fun anyways, and I do want to try it because I like puzzle games. Next up, Arcade Paradise VR. I've actually been looking forward to this game for a while. I played the flat version for a bit. Arcade Paradise is just so relaxing in the sense that it's just about building an arcade. I mean, it's not necessarily relaxing because it's a management game in a lot of ways, but I love arcades. Anything about an arcade I love. I love all the arcade games that are on Quest already or in VR. You know, making your own arcade. I did that with ROMs on the Quest. It was fantastic. This game, though, is a story-based game where you're going to take a laundromat and from the ground up turn it into an arcade. I can't wait to play it. Even though the visuals look a lot different, they look a lot dumbed down compared to the flat version, it still looks like it could be really cool. Masters of Light has been sitting on the coming soon section for a while, I think, or at least I've heard of it for a while. It comes out sometime this spring. It's a hand tracking adventure game where you have to kind of save the galaxy. It's an adventure game where you're fighting against otherworldly kind of universal stuff and trying to save things. I don't know. It looks kind of interesting. I love hand tracking games, so I'll give it a shot. I don't know. It is what it is. You're fighting against rocks and aliens, so there you go. That's what it is, and there's some weird stuff going on. I don't know what else to say about it except for it looks interesting. Final Fury also on this list, coming out this year sometime. These few games we're talking about right now are ones I've talked about before. But Final Fury is a fighting game by, I think it's Kluge or Klug, I don't know how to say their name. Same developers as Synth Riders. I love Synth Riders, so I will give this game a chance. It looks like they're trying to revolutionize kind of like the Street Fighter, Tekken type of game in VR and do it in a way that actually makes sense and is fun. I don't know if it's rhythm-based or not, or music-based. I don't think so, but I do want to try it. There was like a beta or alpha a while back that I could have gotten access to, and I just didn't take the time. But I probably wouldn't want to talk about it anyways. But it looks cool anyways. That's coming out sometime this year. Death Game Hotel is coming out as well. Sorry, let me correct myself. An anime-based game. I don't know if this is actually based on a real anime. It's something interesting. Anyways, apparently it is an online death game battle where players put their own body parts at stake in order to win the championship. It is multiplayer and single player as well. I don't know. That sounds twisted to me. Something that somebody's probably going to enjoy. I don't know if it's going to be good. It is definitely anime based. We'll see. You put your limbs on the line and then you chop them off, I guess. It's like a card game. Weird stuff going on here. I don't know. This next one's based on an anime, though. Attack on Titan VR, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It was delayed from last year to this year. Hopefully it does end up coming out this year because I cannot wait to play it. Now that the anime is over with and it's done, they can come out with it, and it'll be the next big thing, hopefully, for Attack on Titan. Attack on Quest is on Side Quest, and it's really cool. I hope this lives up to everyone's expectations. The locomotion is good. The story is good. Hope we got the original voice actors. I'm excited. I hope that it's good. And this next one, the same thing. Behemoth by the developers of Saints and Sinners, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. It is liable to be massively successful because the first Saints and Sinners was, as long as they put the work into it to make it really good. The thing that I didn't care for about Saints and Sinners 2 was all the issues that it had with it when it came out. Hopefully this doesn't have those. They did delay it significantly. I think it probably won't be out until late this year, which is a long delay because I think it was supposed to be out last year, which is good. I think that if they can work on it a long time, it sounds amazing. It looks amazing. It's like this fantasy game that I don't even know what it is exactly, but you're fighting giant beasts, behemoths. So it sounds fantastic. I just can't wait to play it. There we go. There are a crap ton of games that we know are coming to the Quest this year. There are probably more games that are going to be announced, especially if we get a gaming showcase this year. And I'm sure there are other games that will be announced besides that, as well as they just kind of ghost drop a lot of the time out of nowhere. So what do you think about these games? Out of all of this, what are you most looking forward to? Please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more VR and Quest content. And as always, happy questing.